Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Fernvalley Farms, beekeeping and horses. Okay, today's kind of a horse video, actually. This video is going to be, the purpose of this, I'm really excited about something I got. Any of us, any of you that have horses and you have hot wire, even beekeeping people, actually. A lot of beekeepers will fence in their bees, their bee yard because of bears. Thank God I'm not going to worry about that. People up north, or I think to the southeast, I'm not sure. But I know here, northern Illinois, no. Up north, yeah, up in Michigan, I know. They'll put hot wire around their fence, or their bee yards because of bears. So here's a little trick. This actually, I didn't even think about this till just now. This will even help beekeeping people too. So keep this in mind. You ever wonder if your hot wire is working and you don't obviously want to grab it and find out? Or you could put the, get yourself a tester. And where is mine? It's not. It must be up in the barn, but the testers are. It's a test light that you hook on the fence, and it'll light up how much volt is going through your box. You put the other rod into the ground. It's a ground, and then you just touch it to your fence, and it'll tell you what it's doing. Well, I'm going to show you this nifty little thing that I just discovered about a month ago when one of my customers had it on her fence. I'm like, oh my God, I love that, and I'll show you in a second. But one little trick to keep in mind for horses, if you got a lot of fence. There's these, I've had this 10-mile, okay, I think I had a smudge on that lens. Hopefully this is better now. They have these 10-mile boxes, and it says for 10 miles, 10 miles of fencing. It ain't gonna go 10 miles. Any of you horse people that have these, you know that. If you have a small area that you're fencing off, like let's say a bee yard, yeah, you could use a box like this, a 10-mile box. You'll get plenty of zap going through the whole thing. But for your horse pasture, if you got a lot of pasture fence, a lot of hot wire, 10-mile ain't gonna do nothing. It will, and if something is shorting it out, it's gonna short the wire out all the time. So, and I learned something about these. You got a 0.5. Okay, so I learned something about these wires, these fences, actually. Okay, so I learned something actually not too long ago. One of my other customers has a 50-mile box. And we were talking, and she's like, oh yeah, you need to fit. I just assumed the 10-mile would do it. I'm always kind of fighting with a 10-mile box, always. Never a weak signal. I can see horses leaning on the fence. It's not even bothering them. Constantly having to go around and check to make sure nothing is grounding it out. Sometimes a wire will get loose. If it hits a T-post, that'll short it out. Grass and weeds should not short out your fences. It never happens to me. So I switched to the 50-mile box, and it says it right there, 50 miles, compared to the 10. And I learned that the output is a 0.5 on a 10-mile box. The output on the 50-mile is 2. So that increases. Now I can't tell you exactly what that means. If somebody wants to tell me in the comments below exactly what, and how do you say that word? Joules. I can't even pronounce it, but that's what the output on this box is. So a 0.2, it does give a lot stronger kick than the 0.5. It's not even point, it's 2. I'm sorry, it's 2. This is 0.5, that's 2. If you go to a 75 mile box, I believe it's 3. So I bought this just to test it. I plugged it in and touched it to one of my fence outside, and I'll show you in a minute, and bam, my test light just lit right up. Huge, huge difference. And what I like to use, hold on, I use this 1/4-inch poly rope. This rope, I really like. This rope works really well. Now this is a little bit dirty because it's been used. I've been redoing my fence, but it's got wire woven through it. The 10-mile box barely gets through this thing. The 50-mile box with the 2, however you say that word, gets through this really nice. It lights up your tester really well. So anybody that's got a lot of horse fencing, I recommend, that's what I'm doing, is the 50-mile box compared to the 10. 10 miles sounds like a long way, right? It's going to go 10 miles. Yeah, it ain't going 10 miles. By the time you get all the way to the other side of my pasture, unless everything is just perfect, you can barely see the test light lighting up. The 50-mile box, I can go everywhere in this place that I've got hooked up so far, and bam, it's just right there. And you can light up by the tester. But the main reason for this video is throw that tester away. I'm going to show you why. And some of you guys might know this already. I just kind of discovered this not too long ago. And I've actually been looking for them periodically when I think about it. And then I seen this with one of my customers. It's actually a little plastic test light that you run your wire through, and you can hook it to your T-post, or you can screw it right to your wooden post. You run the wire through it, and it blinks. It blinks a red light. This thing really, really excites me. Let me show you this. Okay, now I don't know if you could see this with the daylight out. You should be able to. I'll be able to look. It's hard to tell on here. All I've done is I wrapped a piece of regular wire around my poly rope wire, ran it through the back of that, and boom. Boom. I've got two of these. I got one here, I've got one on the other side. I'm still working on that fence. I've been redoing all my fence. This thing is beautiful because from right here, let me show you. Right. So right there is my bedroom window. And at nighttime, if I get up to go to the bathroom or whatever, just to get up or it's dark out, I can look outside that window and see this light flashing. I love it. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it. It's hard for me to tell on the camera. I'll probably see it better when it's on the computer. But that thing is just on. I can look out the bedroom window and I can see that thing blinking. At nighttime especially. During the day I can walk right by it. I can see it flashing. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. And you can see what I've been doing here. I don't know if you can tell from the... But you can see all my hot wire. If you can see it in the video, it's all... What's nice about this... What's nice about all this poly rope is you can pull this stuff really tight. I use the hooks on the posts, and I clamp them down with a lead clamp. And you can buy those at any farm type store. You wrap the end of it around, clamp it. Let me show you. In fact, that one looks like it's coming off. If you can see it on there, there's like a little brass. They're little lead couplers. You wrap the wire through it, screw it tight, and you can pull it tight. And what's nice, like I said, look at how nice all my fence looks now. I've been redoing all of this. See how nice and straight all that is? I got 3 strands of it. And all of this has got zap going through it. So now, nothing is going to lean on my fence. Horses aren't going to, you don't want your horses getting out, especially with the roads. One nice thing about the electric fence too, is once your horse knows it's there and they get zapped, they generally won't go by it. So if you accidentally unplug it for something, or I should say, if you unplug it for something and forget to plug it back in, they're generally not going to go by it because they just think it's on. Now after a while, if you left it unplugged for days, then they might test it. Be like, oh, the fence ain't working. Stick their heads through it, try and eat grass on the other side. Every horse that I got out here, they're older or they've been around a while, so there's really nothing to worry about. But my baby that's on the other side over there, this filly, she happens to be right there. See her walking right there? Her, I don't want getting out. That's my yearling. Oh, she heard me. She's like a puppy. When I call her, she hollers to me. Her, I don't want getting out. You get a baby out. I'm sure anybody that's got horses have had this happen. I shouldn't say everybody's had it happen, but it's happened. Especially when babies get loose, it can be a lot of fun to catch. Let me tell you. Trying to catch a yearling is not fun. So anyway, I don't know if you can see it from here. I'm working on the center down here. You can see all right here, it's all pulled nice and tight. I've been just kind of working on all this. This fence here's got a little bit of a sag in it, right? That's because my dumb horse likes to rub his butt on the fence post over there. So what I did, he likes to rub his butt on the fence post. So I ran a piece of hot wire down it. He don't do that no more. So it's just something he's always done. He's wormed on a regular basis. He just likes to rub his butt on stuff. So anyway, so I ran a piece of wire off of that. He won't do that no more. So I got to fix that still. So I've been just going through everything. I've been just going through everything, redoing all the fence, pulling it all tight. My roadside is all done. This side is all done. Now I'm working on going down the middle. I got to get more T-posts and caps and connectors, but pretty much the main point of this video is that test light. I love that thing. That thing is a beautiful thing. Yeah, I love this thing. It's great. Like I said, I can get up in the middle of the night, or even when it gets dark out earlier, you look out the window, and you can see it blinking. Your fence is working. Or like if I'm up here, I can look and see the other one on the other side. You could be 100 feet away from this thing and see it blinking, especially at night. It's just a bright red. It's great. I love it. So anyway, any questions on that? Oh, and I found these on Amazon, actually. There's a company that sells them. I forgot the name. But if you look them up on Amazon, they're there. eBay's got it, but it's the same company. Amazon gives you a better deal. Actually, here's the name of it right here. Here's the name of the company. You can find these on Amazon. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm just helping somebody out, because when I seen this at one of my customers, she texted me. I'm like, oh, text me that. And she sent me the name, and I found that eBay's got it, but Amazon gives you a better deal. So I ordered myself 2 of them. She was actually going to order a couple more for herself, so I told her to get me 1 more. So, but there's the name of the link, or the name of the company. It's on Amazon. Go get them. They're like 20 bucks a piece. They're a little pricey, but you know what? For peace of mind and just not having to go get your tester all the time and stick it in the ground and touch your wire, you just walk up. Oh, look, it's flash, it's blinking, and it's on, so you know it's on. So I think I've kind of covered everything. Any questions on this, let me know. But hot wire could just drive you crazy, trying to make sure it's working properly. Your biggest thing too is your ground wire. You make sure you can go like to a farm store or any kind of electrical store. They sell ground rods that are about 6 feet long. You want to get that thing all the way into the ground. The deeper your ground rod is, the better your ground is, and the better your zap is. They say too, if you run ground lines, and I'm not sure about this, if you round ground rods every 10 feet for like 50 feet, that'll give you even more of a zap. I'm not sure why. If there's any electricians or anybody knows about this stuff watching this video, let me know. But yeah, but I know you want to get your one ground rod really, really deep, and you could buy those at the store. You put on a post hole pounder and just hammer them all the way in. And when you get down to the bottom, take a sledgehammer. Mine are about a foot off the ground. They sell special clamps. You run the wire off your box, you clamp it to the ground rod, and you're good to go. Plug it in, get yourself one of these things. I've got it securely. It's nice. It's mounted real nice to the fence post. It isn't going anywhere. It's got screw holes in it, or on the back side of it's made to snap onto a T-post also. So anyways, that is my story. Any questions or comments? I think I've covered everything. But for all you horse people, if you're always constantly checking your fence, get yourself one of these, or 2 of them, whatever. These things are great. Like I said, I've been looking for one of these for years. I think about it periodically, and I've seen one. Now I have it. I just love it. Now I know my fence is working all the time. And go with the bigger box, 50 mile, 75 mile box. Even for your bee yards, if you got a small bee yard, you could use a 10-mile box. That'll be fine, because you're only doing a certain area. But for the horses, and when you're trying to fence this much stuff in, and this isn't even a lot compared to some people's places. It's kind of hard to tell on here. I've got like 5 acres total. Probably about, 3 of it is fenced off, I guess, if you want to say it that way. But I've got fence all the way down, and I've got it now in sections that I've been redoing all this, and it's just working out really great. So get yourself a 50-mile box. A 10-mile isn't going to do for something like this any good. For your bee yard, it'll be great. It'll give you plenty of zap and keep your bears out. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with that. I couldn't imagine having to worry about bears knocking my hides over. So anyway, that's my story. Hopefully you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel. Any questions, comments, leave them, and I will talk to you guys really quick in the next one. All right, talk to you later. Bye.